Hi everybody, back again. Evelyn, Greg and Muttley here. So if you guys have been following us and checking out what we do, I'm kind of all over the place with these videos, but with this channel we really didn't want to focus on one thing. We just wanted to float around and do basically day by day to exactly what I do. Okay, there's no editing, there's kind of editing when I've said something stupid or pointless or you know what I mean? But there's no fakery about it. It's what you see is what you get. Is what I do is to try and move on, move up in life. I try to get things as basic as and as easy as anybody can do it. Okay, I'm no expert with nothing when it comes to the things I talk about. I just sort of throw a line out there and see what I can hook, basically. So here's another thing that I do. I've been getting into the auctions. Online auctions is a site you'll see that I check out, and the reason why I do that is because there's always authenticity notes that come with the stuff I buy, like jewelry and all that sort of stuff, and I can pretty much, like I said, I look at some currency type things, and I'm going to show you some examples of what I've done and how I sort of work out, is it worth it, is it not. So it gives you an idea on my whole process right through to having a look at something, making a bid and deciding whether it's something that I should be bidding on and can I make a buck on it, basically. Even I might be able to just store it away and keep it and it'll go up in value. I'll give you a couple of examples. So here's we are, one of the sites that I look at, Lloyd's Auctions. Okay, as you can see, there's quite a lot of auctions here. All right, I basically concentrate on things that I'm getting pretty good at. There's one there with the luxury jewelry. That's today at 7 p.m. There's another one, rare and collectible currency, 7 p.m. Platinum diamond rings, I'll probably have a look at that and so forth. So stuff that you are comfortable with. Now what I've noticed is there is really not much of a benefit when it comes to these things. So I'll just click on that guy and you go into auctions, and I'll use just an example of what I'm looking at and get you to just go through with the way I do things. Where is one? I'll show you here. Where is it? This one here. So lot 1927. I'll click on it. And as you can see, what it is 100 of $1 Australian notes. And it's got there with a 12221 radar note. Consecutive Johnson Stone uncirculated. Now a couple of things there tweak my interest. One, they're uncirculated notes, very hard to get. There's 100 of them, and they're in consecutive order. Now you can trust this company, Lloyd's. They are a very reputable company. I've ordered a few things from them. They get stuff delivered very well and very quickly. Now you just got to remember, but that price there is going to be, you're probably going to have a little bit of a challenge. So just break that down. Have a look what you're paying for. The premium is always on top of that, the GST, and then there's delivery as well. So for something like this, it's probably going to cost you about another $11, anywhere between $8.50 and $11 for them to deliver it. So you go to obviously the high end, say another $11 on top of that. Okay, so you're looking at what, $280. Okay, so then you break it down, right? You think, okay, there's only really $100 worth of actual currency there, but they are uncirculated in great condition. Now, let me just get out of here and come back on screen for a second. I'll put it up on the screen again. But as you can see, right, so what do you look at? You look at it's uncirculated, they're consecutive notes. They are wrapped in nice. I'll show you. I'll give you a big view of it, a larger view of it. So yeah, condition, They are an old note, probably 1960s, late 1960s. So check that out. When actually did they stop making them? And try and find out, like I said, go back to the banknote serial checker and double check, see if you can find that serial number, and it'll tell you when it was issued and things like that. So also you've got the authenticity of the Lloyd's auction. They're good people to deal with. So far so good, okay? But again, they do tend to, I wouldn't be surprised. I will let you know. I'll show you if I win or lose this. Now this is about 8 hours away. My little trick, if you want to call it a little trick, would be, there's a couple other things I'm going to bid on, and I'll show you the examples. But first let's clear this one up. I will wait until about 15 seconds to go that the auction's up, and then I'll hit the bid. Now Lloyd's will allow, if there's someone else there bidding, they will allow a reset of the last seconds of the auction. So if I go in at say 10 seconds to go and I hit a bid and the other bidders there watching, they will reset that back to about 15 seconds to allow that other bidder to have another shot. Okay, which at first I didn't really like that. I was like, because I wasn't getting a lot of the stuff I was bidding on. But then it works both ways, because at times I've been waiting there and I'm like, I'm going to get this, and then bang, the other person's hit the thing, and then Lloyd's allows me another 15 seconds to respond. So it works both ways. So just remember, always make sure you know what you're bidding on. Really have a look at it. Make sure you know, because like a couple of times I've bidded on some other things, and I'll give you some examples why you should just read the description and make sure. So there's another one here with silver, shillings and sixpence, the old school decimal currency of Australia. And as you can see, it says there's 1 kilo of silver there. Now, they're not telling you how many coins are in the offer, and they're saying approximately, what was it, 2012 grams of silver. Now it works out to be about right when you think about it, but I'm a little bit skeptical on how they've worded this, because first of all, most of those shillings and sixpence and maybe threepence in that order are only 50% silver in each coin. So do you see what I'm saying about breaking down what actually is there, what you're getting, and how much you're paying for is really important. So try and read between the lines. Don't just dive in and think, oh, this is what you're getting. Not to mention the quality. You cannot see the quality of these coins. So they might be as rough as, you know, they're just silver content value. You know, they're only just, they're junk coins, basically, as they say, you know. So they might be only worth what silver content is at this time. So then work it out from there. Okay, so you've got 1 kilo of silver, work it out at today's prices, and try and get your bid as close as that, instead of thinking about, oh, it's a silver coin, it's from 1937 or whatever, and that's what it's selling on eBay. I try to avoid that. I actually try and go in at the very lowest situation that I want to offload these coins, and I possibly even can just take them and get silver content price for them and still make a couple of dollars. So try and take that into consideration when you're dealing with it. A lot of the stuff that I buy, I'm keeping for a long term. So I'm looking at 5 years or 10 years before I really need to start selling this stuff. And I'm going on the assumption that silver's always going to go up. Gold is always going to go up. If you're trying to flip this stuff straight away, buy it from a, say, Lloyd's auction, get it in a couple of days and then put it straight on eBay and flip it for a decent profit, I don't like your chances. My way of doing things is I'll buy something like this. If it might be a little bit over the silver content amount, but I'm going to look at it long term and go, okay, in maybe 5 years time, silver's going to go up 30, 40, 50%. So even then at that time, I've paid for today's price or thereabouts, maybe a little bit more of the actual silver content in the coin. So in 5 years time, I'm going to at least make 20, 30, maybe even 50 sort of percent back, because silver's always going to go up. So that's the way I look at when I'm dealing with these types of things. And trust me, I don't get much off Lloyd's because it's just normal pricing. You're not really, well, my experience, I'm not really like saving a lot of money here. And I want to bring up another thing. I bid on a lot of stuff and I go for stuff that's got an authenticity certificate with it. Okay. And I do jewelry rings, I do all sorts of stuff, and it's mind-blowing the price that you think you're going to get it for. So a couple of things, and I'll show you the examples here. Here's the stuff that I've bidded on, and as you can see, there's a hell of a lot of crosses. I got either outbidded, or you'll see that there's question marks there. That's the times when I was pretty much the only bidder. And I bidded, say, $1,000. I'll give you just a rough example, $1,000 on something that's been authenticated at around $15,000. So you're thinking to yourself, wow, if I can get this, I can easily flip it to eBay for $2,000. Even if you made $1,000, that's good money, right? Even then the next person gets a good deal. That's what you're thinking. Well, it's not as easy as that. So those ones you see with the question mark and it says you're under reserve. The seller is, contemplating to give it to you. It never ends in your favor. Okay. What happens is Lloyd's will ring you personally and say, okay, what actually is you willing to go to? Do you know what I mean? I'll ask you a couple of personal questions. Look, I'm not knocking Lloyd's. I think it's great. Like I said, I'm watching it. I'm doing this. I'm involved in it. But be prepared to get a lot of no's. A lot of the stuff will not sell because you haven't met reserve. We did get lucky a couple of times, and I was surprised. And we got the stuff valued from an independent person again. A lady in this area, she's very good at this. She brings all the tools over and gets it all checked out. And we've been pleasantly surprised. The ring we bought was, I think I paid, can't remember, $1,500 or $1,600. And it's been appraised. She appraised it at around $4,000 to $5,000. And the valuer appraised it to about 11,000 or something. So there's the perspective of what I actually bought. I paid, I think, $1,600 for it. I got an independent valuer and they said, $3,000 to $4,000. But then I got from Lloyd's a third party. It's a third party. It's not Lloyd's, third party valuer as well, saying it's worth around, replacement value worth around 11,000. So there is chances out there to get something for a decent price. Hey, for your wife even, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to put stuff aside and later on down the track sell it. So that's it. Basically, that gives you a rundown on what I'm doing when it comes to where I'm trying to source making money, and how to do this from home, basically, and in your own spare time. That if you're just sitting there having a beer, why not have a crack at these auction sites? You just never know. Plus, there's a lot of other stuff there. We've bidded for, King G pants, a whole bunch of them, a box of like 30 of them, all sorts of stuff, brand new, stuff like that. There's all sorts of stuff on there. I encourage anyone that you've got a couple of $1,000s that you can, if you want to start your own little business, make sure you do your due diligence and check try and find, take photos of this stuff, Google it. You can take photos on eBay, then you can go to sold items and see how this stuff is trending and selling before you make that plunge to know, okay, this is selling for say $500 on eBay and it's selling really well and they only want 100. There's a little bit of meat on the bone for you to make. Set yourself a limit and say, okay, we're looking at, $30 to deliver it, time of mine, say $50, and I'm still in front making $250 for not much work. I'm in to that certain point. That's basically how I do it. I hope it helps everybody out. Have a great day. Keep commenting, keep listening. I'm trying to do things. I'm trying to keep this, real, and so that other people can feel that they can have a shot at this and get somewhere and make a little bit of extra money on top of just your 9 to 5, and hopefully it just snowballs and you get really good at it, and suddenly you don't need a 9 to 5 and you're in more control of your life and doing things that you want to do when you've got the time to do it. It's a great feeling. I love this feeling that now I just sit back and I just go, oh well, I'm gonna have the bid. And I've got Lloyd's eating out the palm of my hand. They ring me and go, holy crap, you put all these bids on, they're all under, and what are you willing to go? It's a wonderful feeling. And they say, nah, you're nowhere near it. And I say, well, mate, that's all I'm going to, I'm not going to be pressured into doing what they want. I'm going to stay where I'm at, and hopefully now and then one goes through and it sells. If I get 10 no's and 1 yes, and I make $1,000, it's worth it. All the best. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I show you something, right? This is pretty cool to know. So I won the feature and I said, everybody make a comment to do red and black. Right, now watch this, what happens when I turn it off. It's quite cool. I didn't know that this would happen. You ready? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn it off. Turn her off. Okay, she's off. Okay, just give me a second, let it just settle for a second, 10 seconds. Now watch what happens. It actually goes back through the feature again. So it resets itself to the feature. It's quite interesting how these machines work. Okay, I'll go back here, I'll turn it back on. Okay, so now she'll boot up. And she'll do the ding, the bell for the feature. I just found this out because I thought, oh, I'll turn it off and see what happens. Loading chip. The screen and everything's been refurbished. You can't put money in it. So watch. Kind of cool, eh? It's done it again. So it does this whole feature system again. It's the same feature, but yeah, it's really cool. So it goes through it all. I think it was 616 I won, didn't I? Oh, 662, that's right. And then watch, it goes to there again. So I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to wait for a couple of comments, and I'm going to choose a comment. Okay, and you can also triple it, remember. So if you want me to hit heart, let me know. I'll hit heart or diamond or club or spade or black or red. And let's just see and we'll keep it going. Yeah, cool. Take care, everybody. Thanks for dropping by.